everybody, welcome to Big Valley Living. Thanks for stopping by. I'm JJ, and we're going to get into a pretty quick recipe other than the prep time. It takes a little bit of time to prep. Thank you to my sous chef Michelle, because she did all of this wonderful stuff. So we're actually going to make 1.5 times the recipe, but when I'm telling you the recipe, it will just be the straight up recipe that you need to use. So you're not doing, oh, I don't need all this stuff and all that, just what the recipe is. So I got this recipe from Simply Happy Foodie, and we didn't really change it all that much. And there'll be a link down below. And let's get going, because it's been a long day in the yard, and this is going to happen in about 10 minutes. To begin, you'll want to assemble all of your ingredients like we have here. This is 1.5 times what you'll need, but I'm going to tell you what the recipe is. So not this recipe, the recipe. So the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 pound of andouille sausage, or kielbasa if you want, and 1 chicken breast, which is in there. 1 small onion chopped, which we use the large onion because we're going bigger.
Go big or go home.
Half a cup of diced celery, 4 cloves of garlic, 1.5 tablespoons of the Cajun seasoning blend, which is actually from Simply Happy Foodie, and that is really good stuff. I'll leave a link to that below as well. Tablespoon of smoked paprika, 1 red bell pepper, but as you can see we threw in an orange because we figured, hey, we'll put in a little bit of color. 4 cups of chicken broth, 12 to 16 ounces. I would say 16 ounces is just right. So we're doing 24 ounces because we're 1.5. So 16 ounces of the penne pasta, 1 cup of Parmesan cheese,
Freshly grated, of course.
1 cup of heavy cream that's not out here because that'll go in after we're done cooking, so we'll get that together afterwards. But it's 1 cup of heavy cream and 1/4 cup of flat parsley and 8 medium mushrooms. We have 12.
That looks really good, JJ. I've had it before.
This is so
an
good.
Amazing meal.
So this thing's going to come together in like no time.
So we're going
to cook for like 5 minutes. The biggest part is to get the saute done on the meat. And here we go. I turned on the saute feature and started it. And once it got up to ready, it says hot on the front. That's when we add the olive oil and butter. And we'll want to get that butter all melted and all that fun stuff. Almost there. All right. So now we want to add the chicken and andouille. And we'll want to cook this, 4 to 5 minutes, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so I did this for about 5 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. Since I'm doing 1.5, it's 5 minutes. So now we add the onions. And the celery. Mix this all up and then cook it until the onions are translucent, and until they're translucent, and bam, we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so to where the onions are just translucent, so you can kind of see through it to the spatula. I don't know if you can see it, but they're pretty translucent. So now we go on to the next step. At this step, we add the garlic.
Fresh pressed is best.
Yeah. And then the smoked paprika, which this is, I'm just going to eyeball this. Oh, yeah. I think that's going to be about right. Because that's a tablespoon. We're using a tablespoon and a half. And then the Cajun spice, I need 2 1/4 teaspoons. You'll need 1 1/2 teaspoons. Or tablespoons, sorry. Tablespoons. I think that's about 1 1/2.
I think a little bit more. That's about a half, yeah.
So I need 2 1/4.
There you go. That's part. Go for it. And then a little bit more.
Right about there.
Yep.
I'm going to say good
Oh,
to
that
that.
smells good.
And now it's going to start smelling really good because that stuff is really good. Now we add the mushrooms. So now I'm going to put the mushrooms in. Then I'll cook it for 1 minute. Kind of stir this up. I'm going to get it all incorporated. Kind of get that seasoning blend all over this stuff, because this is when it starts to smell really good.
And we're having a nice family dinner tonight, so if anybody smells it in the other room, you feel free to say something. They're starving because we're about an hour late. Okay, 45 minutes.
Stirring frequently. So just, stir it up. Kind of get it all frequently. Like, don't let it sit there for the minute, but stir it around. All right, so that's been a minute. Now we add the bell pepper and the chicken broth. So that was 2 cups there, and the recipe calls for 4 cups, so a quart. So I had to take a half a quart extra.
Fit. We were nervous about this not fitting at 1 1/2.
It is barely going to fit. You will not want to go over this. I promise you will not want to go over this. And
but we are below it a little bit.
So now you stir this up and let it come to a simmer, which takes about 4 minutes, maybe 5. This will probably take me 6 minutes because this is a lot more than the...
Hi. 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 Are those your shoes? Yeah. It's okay.
So we'll let that come to a simmer, and we'll be back. Okay, so when it says simmer, to me that means it starts to bubble. So this is how I made it last time as well. But it's pretty dang hot. So I'm calling that a simmer. At this point, we put in the pasta. And it calls for the penne pasta. And so that's what we're doing. I'll stir this in.
Oh, good. And there's still room for the other little bit.
And the other half a pound. So what you want to do is make sure that you have it the pasta under the water, which is right there. And I don't know if you can see it back here, but you want it under the max PC level as well, which is right here. It says max PC. I don't know if you can see that or not.
No, they can't.
Okay, but it says max PC in ours. So I'm going to stir this one more time, and we're going to get the show on the road here.
You want a little bit of water or no?
I think a little bit of water.
Okay, why don't you hand me that chicken cup? Cut chicken cup. Can you hand me one without a bowl in it? Yes. That'll work. A little bit of filtered water. Just add it until you're done. I'm going to give you 2 cups.
It's not going to take a whole lot, just a little, okay. Just a little bit of water. Just to get it at the max PC line. Right. So everything's at least at water or below. Here we go. All right, so line up here. If you've used an Instant Pot, it's the same rule every time. Line your arrows, turn it. Make sure that this is set to seal. Go to pressure cook. Custom for mine. And it is 5 minutes is all we need. I'm actually going to go a little more because we're a little bigger. A little more tonight. I'm going to go 7 minutes. And then I'm already set to high. And I'm going to turn it on and let that dude go.
How'd you turn that on? You hit the start button?
I hit the start button.
Right on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go.
Bam. Okay, so we are all done. This thing is just barely finished. So whoever, I don't know who gave us this idea, but using the Lazy Susan so that this thing's not venting into the cabinet.
Yeah.
This is a quick release recipe, so bam, off we go. This is all vented off, so this little, I don't know what this is really called. This is like a pressure valve, but this pops up and goes down. Once it goes down, then we can open it. And so let me turn this guy so that we can see. Take and turn it, open it up. And oh my goodness, look at that. So at this point, once it's open, we want to put in the Parmesan cheese. Hi, honey. And stir that in. So at this point, we let it melt, which I believe we're at. Then we put in the heavy cream.
I'm joking. She didn't go out to, well, she did in the kitchen last night. So she knows. Oh, is everything okay now, Isabel?
So there's that. And we'll let this sit with this open with the lid off for a couple minutes. Let that heavy cream start to set up, make it a little thicker, and we are ready for dinner. You know, thanks for coming by Big Valley Living. If you haven't, or if you haven't yet, you know, if you found something useful here, subscribe. Definitely like the video and sign up for the bell so you get notification when we put out new videos. And we'll see you later, everybody. Be kind.